The supposed anime game hater is back after Anime Vanguard's anniversary update has basically wrapped up. We're entering the filler arc now, and the game is drier than the Sahara. Like, there's nothing to do, at least if you're not new. This video is definitely gonna be way shorter than my previous videos and a lot more yap filled, so if you want to see more stuff like my last videos, you're gonna have to wait on that for the time being. But there's still at least one kind of crazy thing that happens in this video, so make sure to keep watching. So for the most part in this video, I'm just grinding Sasuke's daily mission for his familiar. I'll talk about it later, but I'm not super excited for him. I'm prioritizing the rerolls from his missions over him first. But let's talk, starting with the anniversary update. So what do I think of it as both a newcomer and someone who's not really fond of this genre, at least before, I actually got into AV and whatnot. In the units department, I think they did a good job. I actually have a more positive opinion towards the units than most people do probably. Pretty much every unit, Dio included, is not that grindy to get, even without a macro. And even if your luck is like the worst in the world, you can get all the banner units pretty reasonably, like you've had plenty of time to get them. And I personally didn't mind the character choice. Maybe I'm biased because I actually really like some of the media that these characters are from. Like Doomguy, Spot, Godzilla, I think they're all really cool. And the way I see it is that the devs, gave themselves a chance to put characters in the game that they really wanted. And is that necessarily a great thing for the game overall? Not really, because I think you should prioritize your player base, but I do understand where the devs are coming from, because for basically over a year straight, they delivered 90% anime characters that people wanted. So I get why they want to be selfish for at least this one time. And I mean, the community voted character Dio is literally the best unit in the game, so there's that. Kit wise, I think half of them are pretty interesting and the other half are pretty bland. The event units in Dio are basically all the super unique ones with actives and whatnot. And some of the banner units have interesting gimmicks too for the most part, but some of them, you just place down and just watch them attack. It's pretty uninteresting, but you can't have all winners. But where the anniversary disappointed me the most was definitely the stages. As I've said before, I really think we should have gotten a few more challenging stages like stage 8. They don't have to be repeated grinds either, like you have to do them over and over again. Act 9 could have been just the single stage that we have to grind. Because, the last thing I would have wanted is just a second or third stage where I have to mindlessly grind it over and over again. But stages that gave you like special titles upon clearing, or a skin, or a badge, or something, it's like a one-time clear, that would have been enough for me. Just a challenging stage that you clear one time, simple enough. People could complain about all they want about the units, but what good are new units if you have no new stages to use them on? And my next talking point, what do you even do when the game's dry? How do I feel when there's literally nothing to do? And well, simply put, I just go do other stuff. There's a reason why I asked for more single clear challenging stages and not more stuff to grind, because I don't mind actually a few weeks of minimal content and not much to do, because the best part about AV for me is how casual it is. That's my favorite part about the game. I'm not trying to work a 9 to 5 here. I would hate the game way more if updates were extremely grindy. But I do think that the devs should try to pick up the pace for sure, because this is pretty slow, I will admit, even for me. Even if you were hyper casual or new, you should have been able to complete this update within the time we were given, like in the past 3 weeks. And we definitely should have been getting news for the next update this week, but so far it's radio silence. I truly do feel for the devs with the DMCA causing everything to derail. I really do. But after 9.5, I really think this game needs to be more consistent in its updates. But right, we did get new stuff this week with Sasuke. I'm not gonna talk about the unit much because... Okay, what the... Okay, so that was a bit performative because, I actually hit Griffith on Monarch Pity. Sadly, I did not get him on the last reroll. That would have been really exciting. But Sasuke really clutched up with his extra rerolls, so thank you, Sasuke. And I decided to roll on him because, he's one of my favorite units. Even if he's like a bit annoying to use, he makes you play the game pretty differently in a way that no other unit does. Without Monarch, he's basically just a gimmicky support unit, but with Monarch, he can actually do some pretty nasty damage himself, and he can be more capable. So in this setup, I'm rocking Obito to fend off while Griffith, is setting up. Obito can be replaced for free while keeping all his upgrades, so he works pretty well with Griffith. And after the Eclipse is done, I'm gonna juice the hell out of Obito with Tengen and Smith. The damage support, Scorch debuff, and DOT buff from Smith, all of this is gonna skyrocket Obito's damage through the roof. And yeah, Broly and Dio can get higher numbers than Obito, but I still really like this setup because Griffith's damage here is pretty damn good. Like, I really like how cost effective this team is too. I honestly could have put in another unit, like Dio maybe, just to get some extra damage in here. It's like dirt cheap how much this team costs. And it's a pretty fun setup, so I'm definitely glad I got Griff of Monarch. So back to what I was saying before about Sasuke. I'm not super excited for him. Nothing wrong with the unit itself. He's got an interesting kit design and he's definitely good. But I'm kind of fatigued from Vanguard familiars as a whole. They shouldn't stop making them. They should definitely still make them, but maybe at a reduced frequency. And I'm sure the devs love them since they're super easy to pump out, but it's pretty damn mind-numbing to constantly grind Odyssey or just bring this unit along for other stages, even if it's for 5 days. I wish there was some mission or event where you actually, use the unit. Maybe that trial where you can test the familiar to see if it's good or not, to help you determine if you actually want to grind it. I don't need the grind to be easier or more tedious and time consuming. I just want it to be a bit more interesting. Because bringing a unit along for 5 days straight isn't really that fun or engaging. I think it's okay for lower hype characters like Sasuke, but if somebody like Aizen got a familiar, then they should definitely try a lot harder with him. But yeah, that should be about it for this shorter video. My next video will hopefully be a lot more substantial, and I'll most likely be back when AV has some kind of update drop or content drop. So yeah, see you in the next one.